Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. All right, folks, breaking news out of Chicago. Chicago police now say that Empire actor Jussie Smollett is a suspect for filing a false report of him being beaten. Let's go to the tweet that was sent out by the spokesman for the Chicago Police Department. Case update. Jussie Smollett is now officially classified as a suspect in a criminal investigation by Chicago police for filing a false police report, a Class 4 felony. Detectives are currently presenting evidence before a Cook County grand jury. What we also know is that Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx has recused herself from this case, and someone else is actually handling this. Now, you might recall it was a couple of weeks ago that Smollett said that he was attacked around 2 o'clock in the morning. A noose was placed around his neck. He was beaten. Homophobic and racial slurs were hurled at him, while the folks who attacked him were also saying this is MAGA country. Now, the case began to turn back and forth over the last week. It was last Friday where Chicago police arrested two Nigerian men who returned from the country who worked on set of Empire. The next day, they were released from the police, and they said that the trajectory of the case changed based upon evidence they discovered in the apartment. Then we had all sorts of comments coming from different sources within the police department. So this is really the first time in a week that the Chicago Police Department has officially come out and made such a statement when it comes to Jussie Smollett. Of course, he also has not been interviewed in the last several days. His attorneys say that he will only be talking through them. Now, the other issue is this here. His attorneys also said that he was being re-victimized by saying that he was a suspect. We'll wait to see what happens next from his lawyers. Here was the statement from Kim Foxx after she recused herself. She issued this statement: out of an abundance of caution, the decision to recuse herself was made to address potential questions of impartiality based upon familiarity with potential witnesses in the case. Now, we don't necessarily know exactly who those witnesses are, but that's what the statement from the Cook County State's Attorney. Let's talk about this with our panel. First and foremost, joining us via Skype is Monique Presley, principal of the Presley firm. So she joins us on the show as well. Also on the set, we have here Scott Bolden, former chair, National Bar Association Political Action Committee. Also here, Robert Maxwell, Republican consultant and strategist. Monique, I'll start with you. It was all kind of stuff back and forth. We heard the initial report in terms of Smollett saying he was attacked. He goes out to L.A., has a concert where he said how he fought back and defended himself. Then this story just began to change and change and change. Now we're at the point where Chicago police are saying they clearly have enough evidence to say he's a suspect. What do you make of this announcement by Chicago police just a few moments ago?
It was sketchy from the beginning, and obviously for many reasons, I hate this. I hate everything about this story. But it seems like at the point that Kim Foxx, and I know you know her, Roland, I know her too. She's a stand-up, good person and prosecutor, and she's close to a few people who would be involved with this. So to me, when she took her hands off of it, that wasn't necessarily a good sign for the trajectory of the way the case is going. But the police department has a job to do, and so does her office. If it's true that this is something that was falsified, then we're dealing with a young man who is troubled. If it's the case that he's being framed, and this wouldn't be the first time that that's happened, then it's a shame too. So I really don't know what to say about it until we see more from whatever evidence it is they have.
Scott Bolden, his attorneys said earlier this week that he was being re-victimized. He was, because they were saying that he was behind this. Mm-hmm. You had different leaks coming out of Chicago, the police department, saying that that he paid these men to do this. That now we also have, do we have the video? They also released today surveillance video of the two Nigerian men buying the items that were used in this alleged attack. And so what you see here is this is surveillance video from WBBM Channel 2 in Chicago. So what you see there is a red cap. You see the ski mask. You see the various items. And according to these men, Smollett told them to go buy these items. Now, you have the grand jury with the filing of a false police report. But before this took place, or allegedly took place, then you had a letter that was mailed to the office with racist and homophobic slurs.
To what office?
The Empire office. The FBI is investigating that because that's now mail. Now by going through the mail system, mail fraud. So he actually is now dealing with two arms of the law: the feds and the state.
Yeah, you know, being re-victimized is only re-victimization if you're telling the truth. I was in Chicago the weekend this was reported. In fact, as a former prosecutor, as I listened to the story, I said, this is strange, but let me see how it unfolds. Why? Because it was 2 a.m., it was 10 below zero, and by the way, you see those two guys, right? They're bodybuilders, right? If they jumped on this boy and wanted to beat him down, give him the beat down, he would have gotten more than a scratch, right? So the credibility of the representation became very difficult. But watch this for you and your viewers. Usually, that video that you showed would be evidence that, in fact, these two individuals conspired to attack Smollett. But the video now is being used to charge Smollett with a possible crime of filing a false report. Whatever the two bodybuilders told the police, they corroborated it with the police. They told them that this was all a setup, right? And so then Smollett gets a lawyer, and then the police want to bring Smollett in to corroborate or to confront him with this evidence. And Smollett shuts down, he hires two lawyers, right? And so whatever he's afraid of, watched his defense attorneys or Smollett's attorneys, they're afraid to bring him in because they're not sure about their own client. And so this story is unraveling. It's a felony to file a false report. And the one thing you do with the police in Chicago or any other police, they don't like being lied to and they don't like being embarrassed.
One of the things that jumps out here, Robert, that all these people who are saying the media jumped to supporting his story. But if you actually look at what was done, folks were reporting what he said happened. He then also went on Good Morning America with an interview as well. The reporting continued. Chicago police were doing their investigation. And so it's not as if someone makes this type of allegation, folks go, okay, we're not going to report this happens. Right. Here you have somebody who's a star, someone who is on a hit television show, makes this allegation, files a report. That's going to get reported. The natural reaction, obviously, from people who are fans of his, who work with him, believing him, because who actually would think that somebody who is a star at this level would just make something up? Right. Now what you have, though, is, again, now you have the police saying, okay, no, we're going to chase all these leads down, and this totally flips the story. Now he has to deal with, okay, will Fox back him up? What will happen with his record label? All those other things that are there, and now we also get into, if he did, why in the hell would you do it? Why?
Well, I think, I don't know, I heard the word troublesome used to describe Jussie or Jussie. I think the word sinister or diabolical would be more appropriate. I think that this is something that was deeply planned and ingrained, and I think this was an idea he thought was good to create a narrative that I think that the public really wants to see.
But here's the piece. We still don't know. Hold on one second. Here's the deal, though. We still don't know that. And so, we don't, because
he's just a suspect. He's just a suspect.
Just a suspect. Go ahead.
You heard the story. It was a head scratcher for you. I know it was a head scratcher for me the day I heard it. In fact, I posted on Instagram this was a hoax back on January 31st, excuse me. So I think the media, they didn't do their research because it fed a necessary appetite. They wanted to push the narrative.
What research?
They wanted to feed the narrative that Trump supporters were walking around with nooses and hanging folks.
What research?
Excuse me?
What research?
No, I said it fits a narrative.
What research
You said the media did their research. What research?
I would say that the press should have been skeptical to ask certain obvious questions that they weren't necessarily willing to ask.
Well, here's the piece, though.
From the get-go.
But here's the piece, though. We say ask questions.
Correct.
One, he only did 2 interviews with media.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And the big interview was with Good Morning America.
Okay.
That's first. Second of all, Chicago Police Department was not speaking as they were gathering evidence. You had individuals who were, okay, this source told, this reporter, this reporter.
Sure.
And then there were things that were being leaked where the superintendent.
But it would
had
be
to,
insincere to sit here and say that CNN, MSNBC, there wasn't a litany of panels and articles and op-eds that were used to kind of justify and tout this narrative that Trump supporters and this era of Trump is kind of giving way to hate crimes. It would be insincere to say that didn't happen. That's what the media wanted. They wanted the opportunity to write these op-eds.
Well, first of all, what we do know.
How do you know the media wanted that? All they did was report. You had a complaining witness, a credible complaining witness. 98% of all crimes reported are true. Only 2 to 6% are found to be untrue. So why not go with that narrative? Because that's the only narrative that was out there. I don't know whether they wanted it or not, but it was there.
Frankly, there were no corroborating witnesses other than his own manager who
could be charged with crimes every day that don't have corroborating witnesses.
Monique, but to Robert's point about in terms of what the media wanted, I am, go to my iPad, please, Henry. I'm pulling up a Chicago Sun-Times story that says rise in white supremacy hits 20-year high. And so it's not as if you don't have, Monique, actual evidence to back up that you do have a rise in white supremacy in these attacks.
Right, and it would be insincere for us to ignore that, just like it would be insincere to ignore whatever role the media plays in it. But there's two things going on. First, we have this believe the woman, believe the victim thing, right, that has been a part of our culture since the rise of Me Too, Time's Up.
Well, actually, go further. Susan Smith, the guy in Boston, who said, I mean, so the reality is we've had other cases where folks have made up stories saying, oh, some black man shot me or pushed me in the water. We have a tendency in this society, whether you're an actor, whether you to believe the person tells the story until it unravels. Go ahead.
That's we can work Emmett Till backward and know that the black man did it. But this is different in that we are supposed to, the minute an alleged victim comes forward who has been victimized by crime, believe them. And there are scenarios where the victim does not come forward, alleged or otherwise, for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and it's a he said, she said, with not just no corroboration, but with no physical evidence. This is different from that. This is an alleged victim who came forward contemporaneously with injuries. He doesn't have to have broken bones to be injured. And there was a definite narrative with a place, with the time, within a short period of time and when the event supposedly happened. So there was no reason for there to not be reporting of that. But there was also no reason for the police to do their jobs, which is exactly what they did, which is supposed to happen when there's a report, and then you figure it out. Listen, I know one of these defense attorneys, Roland Victor Henderson, is one of Jussie Smollett's attorneys, and he's not, as Scott would say, clueless about his client or unsure of what his client's gonna say. He's a career defense attorney. He knows exactly what he's doing, and if he's not bringing his client in right now, there's a reason. To me, at the point that an investigation turns towards your client, you stand down. I'm not bringing my client in unless my client has to come in, and then it's going to be Miranda, and we talk if I advise my client to talk. I mean, that's just the way it goes when the tide turns in this manner.
Final comment. Go ahead.
You're talking about when the tide turns. But Jussie and his fine defense attorney stopped talking to the police before he was a suspect. And my only point was that, one, that his defense attorney had to do an investigation, and regardless of what happens and what comes up in their own investigation, they certainly weren't letting them go in to confront those other allegations. That's a problem. But from a defense side, the defense attorney is doing exactly what he should do.
Robert, final comment.
I think that it's obvious that the media wants and they needed a story like this. That's why they never questioned it.
Why do we need a story like this?
I mean, you can look at the comments made by the president today. Obviously, the error.
Wait, hold on, Monique, wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
Sit here and pretend that the media isn't out to get the
wait.
narrative. If you look at Covington Catholic High School.
One second. Hold on. Wait a minute. Even Trump commented on this story.
Why?
So to say,
why is that? Because if
Because
you're
it was a
Trump and if you say
story.
Nothing. What happened when he said
No.
nothing in Charlottesville?
No.
What happened when he said nothing?
Okay, first of all, it's kind of hard to ignore Charlottesville when somebody got killed.
Well, there were good and bad people on both sides.
Oh my God!
You actually believe that bullshit?
They're bad.
It's true.
They're good and bad on both sides.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let me go on this next
You don't
story.
have enough time to break that down.
Yeah, because I want to embarrass you in front of your grandmama who's watching.
Okay.
All right, folks. Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Beginning of the year, in terms of focusing on the health, and of course, for me, it's all about my golf season and, of course, improving core. And so many of us out here want to lose weight, feel better, get more energy, and one of the ways you can do that is with the D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse. Now, I always love the way it look and feel after it's over, but it's not just when it is over. It's also about how you continue on changing eating habits, drinking more water, and eating healthier foods as well. And look, many of us abuse our bodies based upon what we eat, especially when it comes to weekend, excessive eating, and processed foods, and all that good stuff. So the Full Body Cleanse is about actually getting rid of those toxic buildup in your body that drag you down. So if you want to try the D-Herbs Cleanse, go to dherbs.com, dherbs.com, and use the promo code Roland for a discount at checkout. Now, in addition, on the website, you can call 1-866-4DHERBS, 1-866-4DHERBS, and again, use the promo code Roland, okay? That's what you can do. And so D-Herbs, Full Body Cleanse, we appreciate them being one of the partners, Roland Martin Unfiltered. So go to dherbs.com and use the promo code Roland. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.